Hi, welcome to the EEVblog, an electronics engineering video blog of interest to anyone involved in electronics design. I'm your host, Dave Jones. Hi, it's e-reader review time. Now, as you may know, some time back I reviewed the new Amazon Kindle 3 when it came out, and that was a very popular review and teardown. So I thought I'd have a look at this new iRiver Story HD. It's just come out on Sunday in the US, not available in Australia yet, but one of my viewers, John Chandler, thanks John, he picked me one up at Kmart on Sunday when it came out and FedExed it to me, and we have it for review and teardown. Is it as good as the Amazon Kindle 3, which is its clear competitor? Let's find out. And we'll do a quick unboxing here. Now, here's the box, and it's very reminiscent of the Amazon Kindle box, which I so loved. And here it is. It's got the same sort of, plain packaging, recycled cardboard look, although nowhere on there does it say that it's actually recycled cardboard at all, whereas Amazon do actually claim that. And Amazon have this great frustration-free packaging. I love it. All you do is you zip the cardboard cord across like that, and you open it up. No tools required. Fantastic, but can't say the same thing with the iRiver Story HD. There's just tape on the side like this, and to open it up, shock horror, I've got to actually get my knife out, get it in there, and slice the thing open. How offensive. Let's not quibble over the packaging. Let's see what we have inside, shall we? Open it up. Ta-da! No, got to open up again. Ta-da! There it is. And, of course, you would think, just like the Kindle, you would think it's already switched on. But it's not. That is all you would think. That was like some sort of protective display on the front of the actual unit itself. Comes in the plastic like that, but it's not. It's the e-ink display. It's the gorgeous e-ink display which takes no power, which is why they can actually ship it with an image on the display like that. And from behind the camera I didn't see this nice little tab here which allows you to just pull up the unit like that. Excellent, I like it. And what have we got under the bottom of the box here? Ta-da! We've got a USB, that's a mini B connector, so obviously that's what's on there. And we've got some sort of quick use guide, have we? The basics. There you go, setting up your Story HD, how to plug it in, etc. Boring stuff, we don't need that. We're going to take a look at the actual Story HD device itself. Now you may have noticed this barcode inside the box. It was just sitting loose on top, but it's actually an RFID tag. If you can see inside there, there's actually a chip and the antenna coil in there. It's one of those RFID tags. Now, if you remember my teardown of the Kindle, it actually had an RFID tag built inside the actual unit itself, whereas I don't know, I haven't torn down this one yet. We'll have to see, but obviously it most likely hasn't, because they had to ship a separate tag with it. And having an RFID tag like this inside the actual box, it allows them to scan during the production process, scan the actual unit and figure out which serial number is there and all sorts of stuff. So they've obviously allocated this barcode to this particular serial numbered unit. And here it is compared to the Amazon Kindle 3, because that is the natural comparison. Obviously, it's clearly a competing unit. It's almost exactly the same size. It is a little bit wider than the Kindle, like that, but it's almost identical length. There's no difference there at all. And thickness, there's bugger all in that as well. They're basically the same thickness, so really there's not much difference between them, and the displays are virtually identical size, except of course the big marketing point of the Story HD is that it claims to have 60% more pixels, or a HD display, compared to the they don't mention the Kindle, but they compare to other competing ebook readers, which of course they mean the Kindle 3. And I don't know, I prefer the charcoal finish of the Kindle 3 over this. This one's a bit flashy. We've got these sort of copper coloured buttons, I would probably say they are, and there's no controls on the side. There's no page turning controls like you had on the Kindle. So I've never used an iRiver story device, an iRiver e-reader before, so I have no idea how to even turn the displays. I guess I'm going to find out. And if we take a close-up look at the QWERTY keypad here, it's in the straight alignment as per the Kindle. I don't know, that's not as nice, I guess, as the traditional spaced keyboard. They've got their four-way, looks like a four-way cursor bar here, which you obviously push up and down and then click left and right. And on the bottom here, we've got a USB Mini B connector. Now, the Kindle has the micro USB connector. Now, the Mini B is not nearly as robust in the number of insertions as the micro USB connector used on the Kindle. So I guess if that could potentially wear out quicker, but there's nothing else on the bottom there. There's nothing on the top, and if we turn it over here, it's a rather, I don't know if it's a nice brown type of color on the back, but there you go. There's the Story HD with the FCC stuff, the specs, and basically down here, here's our power button, which we slide across, and there's really not much else. Designed by iRiver, of course, and this looks like the SD card slot. There it is. You lift it up, and bingo. Oh, it's got a nice little hinged attachment here, which just flips out of the way. That's really nice, and it's a standard SD card. Of course, that is one of the major things lacking on the Kindle, is expansion capability. Now, I'm surprised they've gone with a standard SD instead of a micro SD, but I think that's really good. On a product of this physical size, there is really no need to go to the micro SD card format. It's great for mobile phones and things like that, but when you've got a product this big, really, you should just be using standard SD, and they've done that, and I think that's terrific. But, of course, there's one of the things lacking, which is on the Kindle, is a headphone socket. You can actually play music, and you can get talking books and things like that. The iRiver doesn't have that. That's pretty disappointing. Not that I've ever really used it, but I'm sure there might be a lot of people who use the audio capabilities of the Kindle. Let's switch it on and see what we get. We just have to slide the button here, which is, once you get to know that it's under the bottom, I guess you can just slide it like that, which is quite good. It's better than, I think it's probably better than the one on the Edge on the Kindle. I don't know. The boot time is, I guess because it's the first time literally the first time I've ever switched this on. There we go. It's got to go through a setup process there, which I think the Kindle had to do as well. So I'll have to link my my Google Books account with this thing. That's not done. Whereas the Amazon Kindle, when it ships, because you order it directly from Amazon, it already comes pre-configured with your account and your name information. You can do that online before you actually get it. So when you actually take it out of the box and switch it on, it says, hello David, and it's already registered for you. There you go. Welcome to your iRiver Story HD. Press enter to confirm. Ta-da! And it's updating, and there we go. It's on. It's ready to go. So let's switch that off again. There we go. It just like the Kindle, it comes up with a some sort of random picture. I'm not sure if that's the same every time. I'd like to think that it actually changes, and let's switch it on. And bingo, that switches on very quickly. I like it. And it actually shipped with a reasonable amount of battery life left. And by default, it comes with the sign-in thing here, which I'll have to do. And it says what book you're currently reading by the looks of it. And it looks like it does come with a couple of books populated. There's no extra page there, but it looks like it does come with, excellent, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Now let's scroll down here. Now you have to use this this four-way joystick kind of button here. And well, that popped to the end. The Time Machine. Okay, how do we do that? I guess we go enter. Probably too bad if you're left-handed perhaps, because the enter button's over here, whereas this only has home and back. So if you're using it with your left hand, I figure you would have to come in here with your right hand and press enter. But with your right hand here, you can hold the thing in one hand, you can scroll around like that. I don't mind this four-way joystick so far, actually. My first impression is reasonably quite good. It works reasonably well. There's a reasonable height on it so that your thumb can actually get it like that and actually get good purchase on the button. I kind of like that, but let's press enter and see if we can go into the time machine. Load in. H.G. Wells, love it. Beautiful. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And I assume this is how you scroll the pages. This is a digital copy of the book that was preserved for generations. And once again, that seems to be like a scanned version of the book. It doesn't seem to be... Oh no, there we go. We've gotten into proper text by the looks of it. And there we go. If you take a look up at the top right corner up here, there's a tiny little number 4. That shows that we're on page 4 of the book, and it's absolutely tiny. They have made that as minuscule as possible based on the higher resolution of this display. You really can't see that. If you were visually impaired, you would never be able to see that. It's crazy. So really, that's one of the disadvantages, I guess, of having a higher resolution display, is that when you're a designer like this, you are tempted to actually use the resolution of that display, and that's just crazy. I can barely read that, and I've got perfect eyesight. I'm currently on page 6 there, and watch, like I'll go from page 5, there it is, up there, tiny 5 up there. I'll jump to page 6, and it jumps to there, the position, the page indicator, and I jump to page 7. There we go, and it's down here. What's going on there? It just seems to jump. And I got down to page 12 and it's just jumped up to the top again. Crazy. By default, I think it's just hasn't got the contrast that the Kindle seems to have. And if we zoom in here and take a look at the text here, I mean, I'm sure we can change the font on the iRiver and the font size and things like that, but I just much prefer looking at the Kindle display at first glance here. Let's have a look at what they claim here on the back of the iRiver box. Fast page turns using Cortex CPU. Great. Well, let's try it out, shall we? Now, I've got a very large ebook on here, and I'm like 90% of the way through it, so I'm near the end of an ebook here, and I'm right at the start. If that matters, I'm not sure, but I'm right at the start of the time machine here on the iRiver, and let's do a page turn. No, that's pretty way. That was slower there. Well, if anything, it's slightly slower than the Kindle, I think. It's certainly not better. So I don't know about that bullshit claim there about faster page turns. It's certainly not faster than the competition. Faster than the previous iRiver maybe, but otherwise, nope. Now, one of the great things about the Kindle I loved is that you could use it either left or right-handed, single hand like this, and if I'm sitting in bed or I'm sitting in the bathtub or something and I'm reading my Kindle here, I can hold it like this and page forward and page back even with either my left hand or my right hand with the buttons on the side. You can just use up and down, so you can use it both left and right-handed, but yeah, I don't think I want my thumb in that position. I don't know, it's just a personal preference thing. I guess you'd get used to it. I'd have to use it for a long time to see how beneficial that is, but if you scroll down, you actually turn to the next page. If you scroll up, you turn to the previous page. So it can be used both left and right-handed. That's all right. Let's pop up the option menu on both of the units. It pops up slightly quicker on the Kindle, and you can navigate. Of course, you've got to navigate using the square controller down here. Now, this is where I do actually prefer this quite nice joystick, large joystick style button on the iRiver. That's one of its advantages when you're going through menus and selecting things like that. But as I said, the enter button's over here, the Kindle one is in the center, so you know, there's not much between them really. But I find that the Kindle, they've got it right. Look, big, nice, readable menu like that. Huge, massive. The iRiver, they're taking advantage, or trying to take advantage of that high definition display, and they've made the font smaller. It's not nearly as readable. I don't like it as much. Here's one thing I don't like with their menu system. If I pop it up here, okay, and let's say we want to adjust the text size there, press enter, and I've decided, no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go back to the option menu. You can't just press option to take you back. It's crazy. You think, okay, there's a back button over here. Great. You press the back button. No, it takes you back to the book. Anyway, let's take a look at the text adjustment size here. So we'll adjust text size, and bingo, you can adjust the size of the text. And it does actually do it in real time on the display there. Not particularly quickly. It actually takes quite a while to cycle through the larger fonts like that, but that's not bad at all. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this on camera, but if you can see there is a ghost image there left behind from the menu. I'm going to try and get it here. If I get the right angle, it really is quite visible. And if I call up the option display again, just look, you can see the A. You can see that box and the A button there. If I go in again and go into the menu, there it is. You can see it. And if I go back like this, it remains. There's a ghost image there. You do get a little bit of that on the Kindle, but it's not as bad as the iRiver. So I think the ghosting is worse on this display. Now I'm in the option menu here, and really I can't find anywhere to change the type of font. You can change the size of font, but you can't change the type. I think that's ridiculous. It doesn't have a rotation sensor in there, so it doesn't automatically flip around, but it does have a dedicated button, which the Kindle doesn't have. You have to go through a menu to actually get to that. And here's that annoying thing again. I'm still in the text size menu, and I can't just go and press that. I've got to actually press back to go back to there, and then I can press the rotate menu, but it only calls up the menu. It doesn't actually let you actually choose a default position that I'm aware of, and it's rotated it like that. There you go. But it'd be nice if you could have a preset rotation, and then you just hit that and it toggles between the two of your preferred orientations. And there's that ghosting on the display again, the e-ink display. It clearly hasn't dropped all of the whatever they are, like carbon crystals or something, all the way to the bottom. And you can see it. You can see the ghosted text on there, and that's no good at all. I don't like it. One of the great features I love about the Kindle is that you can highlight passages of the book, and you can share that with other people. And likewise here it actually shows that 8 other people have highlighted this particular sentence in the book itself, and I can add to that, and you can actually switch that on or off, but that's quite nice. And the iRiver really doesn't have a nice functionality like that. I kind of miss it. I really liked that interactiveness of the Amazon Kindle. You could just share your reading experience with other people. The iRiver doesn't seem to be the same. One of the great things about these ebooks is that they have dictionaries built in. So if you don't know what a word means, then you can just call it up. Now let's try it on the iRiver here. We've got dictionary. Let's select that, and it takes a second or two, but it pops up. It's got the Collins English Dictionary in it, new edition for advanced learners. There you go. But it looks like you can't just scroll around the document and highlight a word. It looks like you've got to type it in. The Kindle, on the other hand, is much nicer. You don't have to enter any mode at all. All you've got to do is just move the cursor around like this, and you can scroll around the document. Let's look at the word science there, and it's automatically popped up the top with the definition for the word science. But hey, let's give it a go anyway. I've typed in the word science. I press enter, and what's it going to do? Well, it takes its time, and there we go. It's a full-on dictionary. There you go. It's a little bit more comprehensive than the Kindle, but really, I much prefer this, just the cursor live scrolling capability of the Kindle to this one. And the great thing about the highlights feature in the Kindle is that you can actually view all of the highlights in the book that other people have actually actually highlighted, and bingo, and there they are. And you can just scroll down and you can jump directly to the little location in the book. There's no competing capability on the iRiver that I can find so far. Let's see what we've got back at the home menu. If you press home, you get back to the main screen, and let's press the options button and see what we get. Just like the Kindle, you can turn the wireless off or on. I haven't set that up yet. You can go to the Google Ebook store, which we'll see later how if that's any better than, well, it's hard to judge whether it's better than the Amazon Kindle store. You know, once again, there are going to be books that are available on one that aren't available on the other, and there'll be ones that are available on the same store and they're different prices, etc., etc. But Google have a lot of free ebooks, probably more free ebooks than the Amazon Kindle, perhaps. That's one of their claims to fame. You can refresh your books. You can do bookmarks. It's not the same as highlighting. Searches. You can call up the dictionary straight away. Sign into Google, and settings. That's what I'm interested in. Let's go down here and have a look. Wireless controls, system settings, personal information, power settings, system wizards, device information. Wireless controls, system settings, personal information, power settings, system wizards, device information. Let's set that auto sleep settings. I'm not sure what the difference between power off and sleep is, but I guess we'll find that out in due course. But it's set for 15 minutes. So let's go back. If we can press the back button, it does get us back to the previous menu. Personal information, system settings. Let's see what we have in here. We have date and time. I'll have to set that for Sydney, Australia, because I got this from the US. English, of course. They've probably got different languages in there. Library view options, and that's about all. That's not terribly exciting at all. And if you go into the wireless controls up here, it does actually have an airplane mode, which I guess if you've got those fussy flight attendants, you can switch it to airplane mode, but a lot of them don't understand. These ebook readers, they don't actually do anything. They're not actually running when they're just sitting there on the page. So it's, unless you actually have, I mean, airplane mode would switch the wireless off, but why you can't just, you would switch the wireless off anyway most of the time, because it's just going to chew your power. So really, I don't understand why they've got an airplane mode like that. They should just have wireless off and on. I just went into the wireless network there and I had no problems at all. Just typed in my password for my wireless network and it worked a treat. It connected straight away, no problems whatsoever. And it's got a tiny little wireless icon up there. Once again, it's pretty darn small, and so is the time up there. They've got to make these symbols on the display bigger, the menu options and things like that. They're not as readable as they are on the Kindle. And they're both pretty identical. When you call up the menu when you're reading a book, you've got the, once again, you've got the title of the book up here, which I like, but once again, it's a really small font, harder to read. The time's not as easy to read, and the battery symbol is probably easier to read on the iRiver. That's about the only thing that they actually got right there. And this is interesting. Look what's just popped up. After I connected to the network, 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes after I connected, it's said a system update is available. Would you like to download the system software updates? You bet. Let's give it a go. Oh, problem connecting to the what? What? Give me a break. I didn't even give me a chance. What's going on? Well, I'll try and sign into my Google account. Presumably it's my standard Google account, and see what we can do here. Here's one feature I really like and I really think they've got right. Just like on the Kindle, they've got a symbol button here which swaps between letters and numbers and other @ symbols and things like that when you type in stuff in, like passwords, and you're typing in email addresses. If we press symbol, what they've come up with is there's a direct one-to-one vertical mapping of the keys like that. So it shows you how they overlay. So if we want to type in one like that, we just press that and it highlights it up there. It really is quite nice to get that vertical reference position, so you can actually just visually scroll down with your eyes and you know exactly by looking at that mapping which button to press. I really like it. It works quite well. And if you compare that with the symbol name on the Kindle, it just pops up with that and you've got to scroll around and then press enter. It's not nearly as usable as the iRiver. Big thumbs up to iRiver for getting that one right. I tried to sign in and look, I can't. And I've double and triple checked my Gmail username and password. Crazy. I don't know what's going on. Is it because I'm an Australian and it doesn't let me do this? I can get into Google Books, no problems at all, through my Gmail account on the main computer, but it does not let me sign in here. Don't know what's going on at all. And I think I might have found my problem here. Look, I've logged into Google Books in my Google account and it says you have not linked your Google profile to your Google Books account. Go figure. So it looks like I'm going to have to do that. Okay, let's give that a try. Here we go. I guess I click on this button here. Your profile has been connected. Refresh the page to see it. Beauty. All right, let's refresh and see what we get. Ta-da! We're up. I think maybe I should be able to log in now. Let's give it a go. I tried it again and, well, nope, nothing. Username, password you entered is incorrect. Please try again. I'm sick of trying again. Just work. And what do you know? I try a different browser. I've opened the Google Books in here and it tells me the latest Google ebooks are not available for sale in your location yet. But I can happily do whatever I want and effortlessly and read them effortlessly across my devices. Well, it's not very effortlessly if it doesn't let me log into the thing. And look, here's the ad for the iRiver Story HD. Grrr! Learn more. Let's click on that. Google eBook, e-reader. Ah, look. Yeah, that's great. I've got one in my hands and I can't log into the damn thing. Crazy. Well, if we can't sign into the stupid Google eBooks system, then I'll copy some ebooks over manually. I've got them on the SD card here. Let's pop it in there, and I assume it goes up that way. There's nothing to tell you otherwise. No, it goes up the other direction. There you go. And does it pop up with anything? Yes, it does. Oi. No, it popped up with something there, but I can't see them on the main screen here, so I'm not sure how to find them at all. I found it. It's a bit non-obvious, but by default, you're on this Google Library tab here, and there are different tabs: recent, favorites, title, and author. And if you scroll the cursor, I don't really necessarily like the shape of that cursor either, or the bar here, but anyway, if you scroll over to recent, bingo, we've got some, a mix of basically recent ones I've opened, but here are where the SD card ones popped up. I actually had two I downloaded from Google eBooks, a free one, Frankenstein, and in both the EPUB format and PDF format, and you can see it tells you where it is. It's on the SD card there. Document, so I think it can certainly recognize PDFs. Let's see if it can actually read it. I've got another book down here, The Complete Guide to Natural Health, in PDF format. Let's try that one and see what happens. Takes a little bit to open the book for the first time. I don't exactly know what it's doing there. Here we go, and there we go. It reads PDFs, no problem at all, but of course it's formatted in a certain size and it won't automatically expand that out to actually fill the screen. So the PDF, because PDF is a page-based format, it's not like an ebook format that can flow the text through. Of course, that's not going to be nearly as good as the EPUB format, although the high resolution screen is granted, it is very, very good. So it is better than the Kindle for reading PDFs in fixed page format that are actually too big for this screen. So it is excellent for actually doing that. There's one thing I do like about reading the PDFs on here. When you scroll through, it shows you the page number and the total number of pages. I would prefer if that actually stayed there, like it does on the Kindle. The Kindle gives you a percentage. It doesn't give you a page number for something like that. But I just much prefer if it stayed there. But anyway, that is quite handy to tell you your progress through the book every time you turn the page. Now, I was finally able to zoom in on that PDF a bit more, but it was very slow and very clunky, so I wasn't impressed with that in the least. But it has actually allowed me to... no, there we go. Bingo, it's automatically popped back. So that's useless. You can't even keep... looks like you can't even keep that particular zoom ratio and go through pages like that. It automatically switches back to full page view. Crazy. But curiously, if I turn an option called reflow on here, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but if I actually do that, then it does actually give me the traditional adjust text size thing here, but it doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually do anything. And for the electronics people out there, I've got a PDF datasheet in here. Let's give that a go, shall we? That's a typical data sheet, which would be A4 formatted, and there it is. You can actually read it. It's not bad at all. It's quite small, of course, and zooming in is a pain in the butt, but that's not too bad. You can actually read data sheets on there. I rather like that. Whereas on the Kindle, the resolution wasn't quite as good. It was almost there. This one seems to be just there. It just does it. There's one thing I'm not sure if I like or not, but I've got wireless switched on at the moment, and if we switch it off, there we go. It looks like it comes up with just the same screen there. I'm not sure if you could get in there and change it. Maybe if you root the thing or something like that. I don't know. But you turn it back on and it automatically switches the wireless off for you. Well, that's all right, I guess. Power saving feature, but I don't know. It might annoy the hell out of you if you really want the Wi-Fi on when you switch it on. And of course, if you switch it off and then back on, it does actually come back exactly where you were before. And it's not just inside the book either. It's actually menu options and entering in your password and things like that. If you switch it off, it does revert to exactly the same spot as you'd expect. And there you have it. That's about all there is to the iRiver Story HD. It's just a basic ebook reader, and it does nothing more. It doesn't have like an extra web browser. It doesn't have text-to-speech or any of those niceties that are on the Kindle, but I guess it does a reasonably good job of reading a book. Whether or not the user interface is exactly as good, well, that's up to personal opinion, really. Okay, let's see what happens when we plug it into our PC for the first time. Standard mini B connector, no problems, USB connected, there it is, and it's charging the battery. Well, you can select between either charge battery or connect removable disk. I'm assuming that it will still charge if you're connecting to the removable disk, or at least I would hope so. And I was hoping that it would actually give you access to the internal drive as well. I'm assuming it does, but maybe if you've got the SD card in there, we'll find out. USB connected. It hasn't. Oh, yep. Currently reading. Oh, what's going on? Updating your Story HD. It was doing something. Well, there it is. It's certainly charging from the USB, or it's claiming to, as you'd expect. But I tried to connect that in storage mode. It asked me to connect to the external card, and I expected it to show up as a mass storage device in Windows Explorer, but it doesn't. Aha, it looks like I got it. I removed the SD card and I reconnected it, and sure enough, device driver software was not successfully installed, but it has popped up with Story HD as the drive. So there's something with having that SD card in there that didn't work, but here it is. We can access the internal system drive. And these are the folders within inside our Story HD. There's the system thing. It's got a whole bunch of system files. I don't know what they are. No idea what that is. But if we go in there, image, folder's empty. Don't know what that is. Maybe you can put images in there. Comic, once again, empty, no idea. Book, download. There you go, that's where it's downloaded the books in EPUB format. They're the ones that came pre-installed on the Story HD. So presumably I can just drag files from my hard drive directly into there, and they will show up on the internal memory. And manual, there's a user manual in here as well, which I eventually found. That's a user guide for the thing. That's actually comes pre-installed, and Adobe Digital Editions XML file. Not sure what that is, but there you go. You can access the internal drive, no problems at all. But like I said, when you're in this USB connected mode, it just says USB connected. I'm not sure if it's actually charging in that mode or not. There's no charge indicator up the top of the display. And I've put the SD card back in, and I connected it up, and finally it's actually decided to pop up with the removable disk. There it is. So it's not the internal drive anymore. It's actually the SD card, which I had there, and it looks like it has created a thumbnail subdirectory, because that wasn't on there. I didn't create that. And one really important thing for an ebook reader is the weight, because you can actually get fatigue when you hold it in your hand. It's the iRiver Story is 206 grams. We'll compare that to the Kindle, 233. There we go. So it's slightly lighter. That's a win. But I just remembered this is the 3G Kindle, so it does have that 3G SIM card module in there, plus it's got speakers as well, so you'd expect it to weigh a bit more. So it's probably on par if you take out those features. And of course it wouldn't be any fun unless we stuck the thing in the fridge and see what happens to it at low temperatures. Let's do it. I've got the Kindle in there as well. I've got my meter to log the temperature, and we'll give it a go. Let's give it, I don't know, an hour or two, see what happens. It's been a couple hours, let's check it out. It was 1.3, but let's go to the minimum, minus 1.5 degrees Celsius. Don't know Fahrenheit for you Yanks, but here it is. Oh, it's feeling a bit frozen, but let's try it out. Let's switch it on. And yeah, it's slowed down. Just like on the Kindle e-ink display, we found that it actually goes slower at lower temperatures. So let's try and page up. Is that slower? I don't know, it's hard to tell. But anyway, it survived. Survived, no problems at all. Beauty. And there's that ghosting on the display again. It's terrible. I actually thought, I was giving it a bit of a thump around. I was sort of giving it the old twist test to see if it was, as solid as the Kindle like this. It feels very on par. And I was giving it a bit of a whack. And I thought that actually came through, and it came through with more ghosting than it did before. So I'm whacking the thing on the back, and I'm not sure if that is actually causing additional ghosting on there, but I just don't like it at all. It's almost a showstopper. But when it comes down to it, ultimately it's all about reading a book, and you really need the flexibility of being able to change the fonts and the size and the spacing and all that sort of stuff, and this is it. On the iRiver HD, you can change the font size, and that's it. It's fixed. But look, on the Kindle, not only do you get font size, you get typeface, you get line spacing, words per line. Much more flexible. I wouldn't give this up for quids. And of course, you have to read these things at night. Now, I've got my lights completely turned off in the lab here. It's pitch dark, and I'm using my very tiny little underpowered LED light, because I don't like having a hugely bright light. So it's deliberately underpowered, single LED, mighty bright book reading light. And under the light here, it may be hard to get on camera there, but I swear the Kindle has got better contrast. It is more readable than the iRiver. In terms of display reflection, they're very similar. There's not much difference in there. I'd say maybe the iRiver reflects a little bit more annoyingly, but yeah, give me the Kindle. So the tech specs on this thing, well, it's got an iMX 508 ARM Cortex processor, but as you saw, it's really no quicker than the Kindle. In fact, it might even be a little bit tad slower. So really, there's no point to that. It's got 2 gig internal storage space, which is pretty generous, but it's got the big selling point is that it's got the SD card, up to 32 gig, I believe, SD HC cards supported. So that's great for putting huge PDFs and stuff on there, your whole PDF document library or whatever. But it's only got a 6-inch display, same as the Kindle. But the Kindle comes in a 9-inch model as well, which is better, but it does have that HD high resolution display, which 1024 by 768, you can actually read PDFs closer, you know, in more detail, which is slightly better than the Kindle. It's supposed to have a 6-week battery life or 14,000 page turns, pretty much on par with the Amazon Kindle 3. So my verdict on the iRiver Story HD ebook reader, well, compared to the Kindle, I was pretty darn underwhelmed. If I hadn't have used the Kindle before, I probably would have thought this was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I expected a bit more. I expected much faster performance, didn't get it. If anything, maybe even slightly slower than the Kindle 3. Crazy. But you can't change the font size. With these ebook readers, it's all about the visibility of the display, that gorgeous e-ink display. Contrast isn't nearly as good on this compared to the Kindle 3. Not even close. It's close, but you know, this one's much more readable, and you can change the font to suit your particular taste. You can't get that here. Hopefully, I'll fix that on an update. Similar sort of battery life. Battery life is key with ebook readers. I don't have the 6 weeks to test it, but maybe if I do a teardown, I'll be able to do some battery measurements on it compared to the Kindle or something like that. But expect the battery life to be pretty good at 6 weeks. But, gee, I don't know. I expected something. It's got the SD card. Yeah, great, okay, but not a huge advance, especially when it doesn't have audio built in like the Kindle, which is the thing that sucks up a lot of space if you had a lot of audio stuff on there. And the HD display, technically okay for reading PDFs and other stuff at really high resolution, but in the end, give me the contrast of the Kindle any day of the week. I ain't giving up this for anything. See ya.